Hello again, it's Roger Duckworth, Chartered Physiotherapist in Wokingham. I'm a trauma-informed physiotherapist and use multiple different approaches, including somatic approaches and somatic therapy. So today I wanted to talk about what is somatic therapy and somato-emotional release. Now the term somatic practitioner, yoga, somatics, these terms have become very popular in recent times, but like many things, it's not really new at all. Soma means the body, so somebody that works with the body, well, many people do that. What it really tends to mean is people who go into the feelings of the body, help people to reconnect with the sensations of the body. It can be important to reconnect to the body as part of healing for long-term chronic pain. I first came across the terms somatic work and somato-emotional release in my training as a craniosacral therapist over 20 years ago. And it's certainly therefore not new. It's been refined, I will say, by more recent advances in understanding of the nervous system and chronic pain. But certainly the idea of somatic work of various forms is by no means new. So why might we need to do somatic work, and why is it important? Well, as I've said in other videos, if we're going to heal something, I think we have to be able to feel it. If you haven't seen my video on dissociation, then click the link below. You'll then understand how in many cases of previous trauma or unresolved internal conflict, this can lead to chronic pain. If we can't access and feel that part of our body where the tension may be held, then we can't really learn to regulate that tension through our nervous system. Because if we can't feel what's going on there, then our body will think, doesn't know whether it's okay or not, and so it just sort of ignores it. So somatic work is really about going into a deeper feeling of the body and how that feels when we move or even be still. It can encompass meditation, mindfulness, movement therapy, dance and movement therapies, myofascial unwinding, craniosacral light touch techniques, visualizations, internal body scanning. There are many elements to somatic work. So, for example, I might help somebody scan and feel through their bodies and gain a greater awareness of that. And then perhaps feel where the blocks and the areas that they go, oh, I can feel my pelvis quite well, but interestingly, I can't feel this part of my body very well. Then we might go in, find ways of going into that space, perhaps exploring the movement again and reuniting the person with an old friend, perhaps, that they've not been able to really feel. And then when, of course, we are able to have a greater nervous system connection to that part of the body, then, of course, unconsciously, we begin to have a greater control of that. And that will involve controlling the passive tension that just naturally sits in all of us as we maintain an upright position. And then when we've got greater awareness, our nervous system can regulate that and perhaps put the appropriate amount of tension in, and we'll know whether it's too tight or not engaged enough. So somatic work is really important part of any pain healing journey and recovery. We sometimes talk about interoception. Interoception is the internal sense of our body. And that's highly connected to somatic work. It's the first part, is being able to feel something. It's very interesting when I get people to then move, that they might realize how differently they're moving on one side to the other. But I think it's really important, particularly with chronic pain, to begin to explore and feel the differences in the way in which we move, and then perhaps gain an understanding about why. Very often in somatic work we get an emotional release, because if the emotional tension has been held somewhere in the stomach region, that will affect the way in which we move, and so in turn create chronic pain. So sometimes as we go into these body areas, people might suddenly access old memories or difficult feelings, and that's where we're there as therapists to be able to help people explore that and support that, perhaps with psycho-emotional support. So it can take many forms, as I was saying. A mindfulness, an awareness of the body, in some way a greater listening and a stilling so that we can listen to our body. We might do that stationary, and then we might begin to explore it in terms of movement and Feldenkrais techniques, yoga techniques, Tai Chi and martial arts, Qigong techniques, many dance and movement therapy done in the right way. All movement, walking meditations can be done in the right way to help us to be more connected to our bodies. And this is really the essence of somatic work. But the real gift of somatic work, in my opinion, is where it plays such an important part in helping people to recover from chronic pain, and pain that they may have had for many, many years, and also often resolve internal psycho-emotional conflicts, perhaps even dating back to childhood or difficult major life events of divorce and so on. As you've heard me say probably many times, the clues are in the history, and when we really listen to our patients, it is so common to find some event in somebody's life which just precedes the onset of some physical symptoms. And often where traditional therapies fail, I find, is that they're just treating the local part of the body that hurts, but without really understanding the origins of where that came from through a thorough, accurate history. And if, well, there isn't always, but if there is a emotional and psycho-emotional component to a trigger and a body holding pattern, then I think that somatic work is an extremely helpful and almost imperative part of healing from that chronic pain. Anyway, I hope that was a bit of an insight into somatic work. As I say, if you haven't seen the video on dissociation, I think that's a really, really good video to watch to help understand how locked up emotions and tension might actually stay in the body for such a long time, and why we don't just notice it and change it. So jump over to the dissociation video. If you've got any comments on somatic work, then pop some comments below in the comments section. Please let me know your thoughts on it. Any questions on anything else that you'd like me to talk about in relation to complex chronic pain, holistic pain, trauma work, then please also add that in the comments, and I'll do my best to present some videos for you. I hope it's been of interest. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and the little bell so you get notifications when I produce more videos. Thanks for listening. Bye now.